Welcome to Recaply X, your movie recap in a flash. We bring the drama, the action, and the twists in minutes. Our movie today begins with Max and his mother as they move back into their old house in the city where Max was born. His mother used to move him to different places frequently to find a cure for his strange condition. This time they decided to return to their old town and start a small business there. While cleaning the house, Max finds many of his father's belongings. He sees a picture of himself as a young child with his father standing in front of the TV, moving his hand, and notices something strange, a weird energy emanating from his hand that affects the TV, and he doesn't understand why. The next day, he goes to school on his bike and stops in front of the lab where his father used to work, which was destroyed by a very strong hurricane. His father died in that hurricane. Continuing on his way, Sophia accidentally hits him with her car. She quickly gets out to check on him and apologizes, promising to fix his bike. She tells him to wait and that she'll meet him in the same spot to take him home. Max arrives at school and is surprised to learn that Mr. Jack knew his father well. He notices afterward that his father's picture is displayed at the school, indicating that his father was a very important person. After school, Max goes home with Sophia, who fixes his bike. He thanks her, they get to know each other, and then he bids her farewell and leaves. When Max returns home, he finds everything he needs is already there. His father's friend, who used to work with him in the same lab, is now running the company they founded together, a company specializing in artificial intelligence called N-Tech. Max excuses himself and goes to wash his face. Looking in the water, he sees the image of an alien creature, which frightens him, and he quickly leaves. At the N-Tech lab, everyone is on edge because of a strange creature they were guarding there, which has started to wake up and move. Back to Max. His mother tells him that he was the one who convinced her to return to their old house because it was the best place for his condition. Miles, his father's friend, says that after his father's death, he took over the company and continued all the research his father was working on, which was aimed at combating alien creatures that wanted to destroy Earth. Back in the lab, the alien creature wakes up, releases massive energy, attacks everyone there, kills them, and escapes. The energy release causes a citywide blackout. After the power comes back, Miles leaves. Max then searches the internet and discovers that on the day his father died, a very strong hurricane hit the lab and destroyed it, causing his father's death. He also learns that Miles was the only one who survived that hurricane. While Max is working on his computer, it suddenly shuts down, which makes him very angry. He slams his hand on the desk with all his strength, and suddenly, a massive amount of energy is released from his hand. This shocks him, and he doesn't know how to react. He quickly hides his hand and stops the energy. The next day, Max tries to understand the power he has. He tests it on the electrical devices in his house, but the large amount of energy from his body causes the devices to explode and burn. Later at school, we see him sitting and drawing. Sophia approaches him and tells him she urgently needs to meet him. At the same time, nearby electrical devices malfunction due to the energy suddenly released from him. When he returns home, he continues searching online to understand his condition and the energy that comes out of him. For no reason. After a long search, he finds nothing useful. He goes to his mother and asks her about his father, saying he wants to know everything about him. Molly struggles to answer, which makes Max suspect that she is hiding something from him. He tells her that everyone in the city knows more about his father than he does, then leaves, upset. The next day, Max meets Sophia at a restaurant. Suddenly, while they're sitting and enjoying their time, Max feels a severe dizziness and excuses himself to go to the restroom. Suddenly, a massive amount of energy is released from his body, creating a bright light that he cannot control. The energy causes a power outage in the entire place. He quickly leaves, not knowing what to do. He leaves Sophia alone in the restaurant, gets on his bike, and rides away. He tries to find a place in the forest to release the energy, as it keeps building up and becoming unbearable. Suddenly, he stops in the middle of the forest and screams loudly, releasing an enormous amount of energy, then collapses. After a while, Max wakes up to find himself in his room. He doesn't know how he got home, and he discovers that the shirt he was wearing is burned, and his body is covered in burns. He stands there, stunned by what's happening to him. Suddenly, he notices an alien creature in the room with him. He quickly runs out, terrified. The creature speaks to him, introducing itself as Steel, an alien that feeds on the energy released from Max's body. This leaves Max confused, feeling like he's in a nightmare, but Steel assures him he's not lying, explaining that he absorbed the energy Max released in the forest, saving Max's life before he exploded. Steel also tells him that without the energy from Max, he cannot survive, and they must stay together at all times. Steel says he is there to protect Max from enemies who want to kill him. Max refuses Steel's presence and decides to get rid of him. He puts Steel in his bag and takes him to the forest to leave him there. While walking through the forest, Steel explains that the energy Max released woke him from his slumber. He tells Max that neither of them can survive without the other, as Max releases energy that, if not discharged, will cause him to explode. At the same time, Steel needs that energy to survive. Suddenly, a group of N-Tech soldiers appears and starts shooting at them to kill them. Max and Steel run and escape, and Max is still confused about what's happening, who these people are, and why they want to kill him. At this moment, Max begins to see memories of his father's life and hears about a group of evil alien creatures trying to destroy Earth. He learns that Steel is one of them, but Steel tells him that while he is indeed an alien, he is a peaceful one and was a friend of Max's father, helping him. To fight the aliens that want to destroy Earth, Max starts believing in the mission and trusts it. With no other place to hide, he chooses the school and takes Steel in his bag to keep him safe there, the only place where he feels secure. During this time, he meets Sophia and apologizes for leaving her alone at the restaurant. She accepts his apology and is happy. Later, Max and Steel go to a deserted place to discover Max's hidden powers. At that moment, a massive energy emerges from his body. Steel helps him learn how to control and utilize his powers. Max discovers he possesses extraordinary speed, incredible combat skills, and superhuman abilities. Steel merges with Max's body, transforming them into a powerful entity. From that moment, Max realizes they can't be separated and will remain together forever. Max then has a vision of his father in the past and learns that he and Steel were closely connected in everything. He also discovers that they must unite to defeat the evil aliens threatening to destroy Earth. Max sees the destructive storm that caused his father's death and learns from Steel that the storm wasn't a natural disaster, but was created by the aliens to kill his father. Determined to learn more about his father and what happened during the storm, Max decides to meet Miles, his father's old friend, to uncover the truth. Riding his bike, Max feels confident he'll find answers to his questions. Suddenly, Sophia appears in her car and offers him a ride to his destination. However, Max spots the soldiers who tried to kill him in the forest, so he leaves Sophia and quickly escapes. He tells Steel that they should split up and take different paths. Max tries to evade the soldiers, but eventually reunites with Sophia, who gives him a ride to meet Miles as quickly as possible. Shortly after, they arrive at the lab where Miles is. Max asks him what happened to his father during the storm. Miles explains that he wasn't with Max's father at the time, so he doesn't know exactly what occurred. He shows Max a device capable of generating immense energy and tells him it was his father's dream to save the world. Miles asks Max to help complete the project and fulfill his father's vision. At that moment, a massive energy surge comes from Max's body, causing him intense pain. He leaves the lab quickly, but a violent storm begins chasing him, attempting to destroy him. Max tries to escape and hides in a house, but the storm is too powerful and destroys the house. Suddenly, Max finds himself face to face with a terrifying alien creature. Before the creature can kill him, Steel arrives, and they merge into a superpowered fighter. Together, they defeat the alien creature. Max unleashes a massive energy blast from his body, destroying the alien. Afterward, Max sees a memory of his father in the lab with Steel, preparing to face the fierce aliens. Max's father activates the control device, but before he can launch his attack, the aliens invade the lab, destroying it and all the equipment inside. Max's father discovers that his friend Miles betrayed him and joined forces with the aliens. Miles's plan was to harness Max's father's superpowers to achieve great personal gain and become an unstoppable superhuman. However, Max's father refuses to let this happen and sacrifices himself, instructing Steel to find and protect Max at all costs. In that moment, Max's father detonates himself, thwarting Miles's plan. When Miles discovers that Max inherited his father's superpowers, he decides to exploit Max and take his powers. Max learns the truth and attacks Miles, but Miles is wearing a powerful suit, allowing him to fight back. Miles threatens to kill Max unless he sits in the control device so he can extract Max's powers. Left with no choice, Max complies. As he sits in the device, he sees Steel moving and agrees with him to make the ultimate sacrifice, just like his father, to save Earth from destruction. A massive surge of energy and power erupts from Max's body, which Steel absorbs as they merge again into a superpowered being. Max transforms into the ultimate Max and destroys the control device. A fierce battle ensues between Max and Miles. Miles manages to drain Max's powers, weakening him further. Steel advises Max to use his invisibility ability to attack Miles. Max successfully disappears and launches a ferocious attack on Miles. However, Miles cunningly detects Max's location and counterattacks, continuing to drain Max's powers. At that moment, soldiers arrive and attack Miles, trying to stop him. But Miles uses the stolen superpowers to fight back, easily defeating the soldiers one by one. Max gathers all his remaining strength to launch a rapid and powerful assault on Miles, giving him no chance to defend himself. But Miles regains control, overpowers Max, and continues draining his powers. In a desperate move, Max decides to end his life and sacrifice himself, unleashing all the energy and power left in his body. Once, he directs it toward Miles, and a massive explosion occurs in the place. Due to this explosion, Miles dies, and Max faints. When he wakes up, he finds himself and Estelle unharmed by the explosion. After a short time, his mother arrives, checks on him, and is very happy to see Estelle. The next day, his mother tells him the real reason why they kept moving and living in different places: to protect him and to find a doctor who could treat him and reduce the amount of energy emanating from his body. She also tells him that his father was an alien from a distant planet and gives him his father's necklace. When he places this necklace on the planetary map his father had created, he discovers the planet where his father was born. After that, Max goes to Sophia, having drawn her picture on paper, and gives it to her as a gift. She is very touched by it, and he promises her that he will always be by her side and never leave her. Then Max and Estelle unite and fly together in the sky. Their mission becomes to protect Earth and humanity from the evil alien creatures that want to destroy the planet and annihilate mankind. And here we reach the end of our movie. If you like the film, don't forget to like and subscribe to stay updated with new movies. Thank you for watching, and goodbye.